Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Today we are discussing Erik ten Hag's top 5 transfer targets, mainly what our top 5 transfer targets are, and we've got players in from different leagues, different ages, different styles, and we're going to rank them as well from 5th to 1st. So we've got our whiteboards here ready to go and we're going to rank them. You'll find out what players we've actually selected as we go along, and we'll see my ratings along with Charlie's ratings. But Charlie, top 5 striker targets. We need strikers, don't we, at Manchester United? We're in lack of them. So are you excited?
Yeah, I'll take all 5 right now, please. All of them, me. I want them.
Yeah, well, let's get into it because we're going to rank them as we've just stated. So you know what the strikers are. People at home don't know, so you'll see as we go along. But what would be your 5th striker? Let's write it down and then we'll hold it up to the camera.
Okay, my 5th striker. Here we go.
Let's see. I don't know.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if me and you actually go for the same thing on this, and if we don't. Mine would be.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, you've got it right. So you hold yours up first. We've gone for the same thing. I have also gone for Benjamin Sesko.
Yeah.
So Sesko, why have you put him in 5th, Charlie?
I mean, we're kind of factoring everything in, aren't we, in terms of, you know, what they've achieved so far, price tag, etc. I mean, the other players that we're going to find out on this list, I just do think are better in terms of what they offer, age. You know, Sesko, I wouldn't necessarily turn him down. It's more in comparison to the other names that we have, he's just 5th choice for me in terms of, you know, he's young. Yes, that's the one positive thing is he's young. You can build him into the player that maybe you want to, but I do think we need a ready-made striker that's going to come in and score goals. Yeah,
it's when you see who we've got listed on this list, like Sesko, it's no disrespect to Sesko, but he's just not as good as I think as the other options we've got, but still looks like a really promising talent, and I still stick by the fact I actually said that I think we should have signed him in the summer for cheap and then kind of let Ten Hag kind of mould him into who he wants. But with the options we've got here that are definitely gettable options, some of them you might think they're not, he probably does come bottom of that list. But if you look at his stats, because we've got them here, we'll read them out. His expected goals, 0.45, progressive runs, 1.55, goal conversion, 14.7, goals this season, 10 as well. So he's doing pretty well, but then you've got to also factor in the league that he is in.
Yeah, and that's always the problem. And again, that will relate to another player that's on the list, right? That it is always difficult to compare various leagues. Like these obscure leagues, you obviously have the stereotypical top 5 leagues, right? And when you don't play in those leagues, then it is a little bit more difficult to kind of gauge as to how they would convert. But I feel like Sesko is probably young enough in order to, if he was to be brought into Manchester United, that he could be developed and kind of moulded into the player that Ten Hag is wanting. But again, for me, 5th place, I just do think that there's just better options for me in the list. And
he definitely is one of the cheaper options on this list as well. I mean, I think there's already rumours about him. He's just gone to Leipzig and he's going at the end of the season, isn't he?
Something
and
like
there's rumours that even though they've bought him, they'll still sell him before he even gets there. So there is options to buy him there, and he is a young, talented striker, and I'm sure he will do well. But on this list, both gone for 5th. Right, we'll go with 4th and then we compare him as we go along.
Okay.
But 4th place, Charlie, who are we going for? This is a tough one for me, actually. I like this player that I'm putting in at 4th, but I'm just looking at all the other options. Right, so I'll put mine around first. Who have you gone for? You've gone Gakpo at 4.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Again, there's reasonings for this.
Charlie's gone bold.
I just do think it will make more sense when the other names. I mean, obviously you've put Felix down as your 4th one, but I just think Gakpo. A lot of people aren't going to say Gakpo's a striker, right? There's this whole conversion thing, and I do think he will be a very good striker, but I just think, again, in terms of these other names on the list, for me, in my opinion, I think that they would be better coming in. I wouldn't turn down Gakpo at all, but again, I just do think we need that ready-made striker, and I think the 3 options that I've put ahead of him would be better for that. Yes, his goals are outstanding, yes, his assists are outstanding, but again, he doesn't, it's that league switch again that, you know, we're not too sure about. Yeah, it's a difficult one, but yeah, fine margins.
I do think people get caught up on kind of flavour of the month. Gakpo is flavour of the month at the moment, especially with the World Cup going on, and he deserves to be. 3 goals in 3 games. He looks really sharp, really good. His numbers this season are incredible. I mean, his XG is only 0.38 compared to Sesko's 0.45, but he's scored...
Is that per game? That's per game.
Yeah, that's per,
right?
that's per 90. And he's scored 17 goals in that, and his conversion rate as well. His goal conversion is 22.7. And compare it to Sesko's, it's 14.7. So he, even though people wouldn't say he's a typical number 9, he's scoring the goals and he's converting them really, really well. And watching him in the World Cup as well, you can really see that. This is why I've put him higher up on the list. I think you can see that he's pretty young, but he's ready to be converted into that number 9. And I think he's different to the likes of Rashford. I think he is more of a striker than what you'd say for Rashford, because obviously he has played on the left wing, and Erik ten Hag also really likes them versatile number 9s. We've seen that, and I think that's what he'll maybe go for. Manchester United might end up getting Gakpo in January. Get in the comments down below what you think about that.
Well, talk about why you're putting him fourth, because obviously we don't even know where you might put Gakpo first. You don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet where he's on my ranking. But I have actually put Felix fourth, and it's an interesting one because I really, really, really like Felix.
Yeah.
And I think he's such a good player. But similarly, like you said to Gakpo, he's not a typical number 9. You could say the same with Felix, especially in the Premier League. You think to yourself, is he going to be able to score the amount of goals that we need him to score playing as a number 9 in the Prem? I actually have faith that I think he could score quite a few goals, but I think a lot of people would think, can he really do that? But I do think he's a good player, and I do think he's, again, a target that Erik ten Hag would really, really like. There was rumours about us going in for him in the summer, I think there was, but I mean, his buyout clause is ridiculous. It's something like 300 million.
Don't even mention it, it's ridiculous.
But Simeone isn't playing him, and this is where I wanted to bring Felix into it, actually, because his stats, I'm not going to lie to you, out of all the ones we've got here, are the worst. But it's based on this season, much, right? And he's not playing. He's played less than half the minutes than everybody else on this list. So it's hard to judge it, really. I mean, it's like his goal conversion 13.9, progressive. But do you know what is really high for Felix, which I think what Erik ten Hag would love, is progressive runs at top of the lot. They are 2.3, and his progressive runs are, I think, what Erik ten Hag would probably be attracted to about Felix. He wants that kind of front 3 that is interchangeable. I think Felix could definitely be part of that, and he can play as a number 10, he can play off the wing. So Erik ten Hag likes that. Is whether you guys at home would like it. And I'm assuming, Charlie, you've put him higher on that list. Do you want to say your reasons why you've put him higher up?
I just think when it's hard, again, recency bias comes into it a little bit with myself and the viewers, but because he hasn't been playing, obviously people then forget how good he actually is and how good he has been, especially when he's played against us. Yeah. And I just do think there's a reason he went for that amount of money, right, to Atletico Madrid.
Still really young.
Yeah, again, can develop and can be moulded, but I just do think he... Well, you'll find out where he goes on the list very, very soon.
Ooh, might be high up. To be fair, I've been such a big Felix fan. I feel bad putting him in at 4.
I was surprised that you put him there.
I know, I really, really do like him, but I'm just thinking, for now, the other players on this list I feel like would be a better number 9 for us. I'm not saying they're a better player. Yeah. Because I think Felix is a brilliant player, but I'm thinking as a number 9 specifically.
Yeah. Okay,
but anyway, let's move on to third with this one. Oh, this is hard for me. This is really, really hard for me.
I got it. I'll spin mine round anyway.
Right, okay, you go.
There we go. Felix.
Oh, Felix is third.
Yeah. As I said, it was close between him and Gakpo. Maybe looking back, again, it's fine margins for me. Whether you can place him third or fourth, but yeah, Felix is.
Just above Gakpo.
It's just different. I just look at Gakpo right now and he's a winger. And I look at Felix and Felix can play as like a false 9. He probably could play as someone that does, even 10. He probably can play off the left and right. Very versatile. I don't know. There's something just more appealing about Felix to me, I think.
That link up with Bruno Fernandes as well.
It's almost the unknown, I think, of being like, you don't quite know which position he's going to be best at. But he's proven that he can score goals, so like number 9 can be that position. So
yeah, with Portugal, he's linking up with Bruno super well. And do you know what I also think Erik ten Hag would love about João Felix? He would work his socks off.
Yeah, he does. Well, you have to play in the Atletico team.
You have to. It's Simeone, and the amount of times I've watched Atletico, and he's running constantly, and he's literally one man on his own up top with no service. I think that's one of the reasons maybe he's not playing so much at Atletico right now. He's probably fed up. Like, he came here on a massive move, probably promised that there'd be players around him.
The football that Atletico Madrid play is not attractive on the eye, I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. And as a striker, you wouldn't. That would be my worst nightmare, to be playing in a system like that. So
striker, creative player, yeah. But who have you got?
Third for me, it's crazy I'm putting Gakpo over this, but there's reason to it, everyone. My third one is Harry Kane. And the reason I've got him in third, how would I put him in third? Yeah, the reason I've put him in third is because, I don't know now. No, I'm going to stick with it. The reason I put him in third is because of the price and age of this player. So Harry Kane, do not get me wrong, I think if he came to Old Trafford, I think he'd be the missing part. I think he's got tons of goals. I think he'd be brilliant. For me, one of the best strikers in the world, absolutely. But we're going to be paying in summer. I think Levy's a hard bargain to drive. I know he's only got a year left on his contract, but it's not even certain if Spurs will not get top four. If Spurs get top four, you can forget about it. But I think with Harry Kane, he needs to move somewhere he has to play Champions League football. That's why I think he's going to get linked to Manchester United if Spurs don't end up getting top four and Manchester United do. But if you think about it, I think he's 30 right now. Injuries, problems. He's started to get injury problems. That ankle is kind of, one of them where you think, if it goes, then that's a lot of the season out. I think I want to be getting someone young that is going to be a number 9 for many years to come. And I think with Kane, I think it's like 3 years max you'll get out of him now. Maybe 3 years at the top level. But don't get me wrong, an unbelievable player that I think if we did buy him, I'd be happy about it. But at the same time, and he'd definitely be an improvement, but at the same time, you think about it and it's like we're just doing the same thing that we've previously done, like Cavani, Zlatan, them players that are just a bit over the hill now. I'm not saying Kane is over the hill because he's not, but he's coming. He's at the later stages of his career. But again, Kane's stats are very good, obviously, 14 goals this season. And the fact is he's carrying that Spurs team. And he's the class player within that Spurs team. But what do you think about it?
I'm actually going to save what I have to say when it comes to me putting Kane down in terms of where he comes in the list, because otherwise it will give it away.
I would say about Kane, though, as well, is what I think would be brilliant about him is the way he drops deep and can play players in behind. I think him and Rashford would have a super good relationship if he came in. But we also have Bruno kind of doing that as a second striker. So, I don't know, someone with pace would be good as well. But Harry Kane is obviously top and he can do everything. He's a typical number 9. But put him in third. I never thought I'd see that happening, but I'm going to stick with it. And people at home, they'll either get it or they won't. We'll see. So in second place, see who are you?
Make sure I spell this one right.
Okay. Let's see it. So you're going Osimhen, I'm going Cody Gakpo in second place. Yeah. So that gives away who my top spot is, doesn't it? And you put Harry Kane top.
Yeah.
Oh, he's falling for the Kane trap. It's easy to fall into. To be fair. Harry Kane a few years ago, absolutely. But now, let's see. Anyway, I've gone with Cody Gakpo here, who was actually was he your
fourth?
He was your fourth choice. So that's a big contrast between me and you.
Yeah.
And the reason I've gone with Gakpo second is, yes, he's from PSV, which isn't the best league, the Dutch league. No offence to the Dutch league out there, but it's not the most competitive. So, of course, his goals and assists are way higher than anyone's on this list, but you've got to factor in what league he's playing in.
The thing is, though, regardless, his numbers, even for that league, are a joke.
Yeah, they are.
They are a joke.
Like 17 goals and, 17 goals and how many assists has he got?
I'm pretty sure he's got the most goal contributions across Europe, hasn't he?
More than Haaland.
Yeah, it's silly numbers. You even say, even for the Dutch league, and no disrespect, but yeah, it is silly.
And the reason he's gone ahead of Kane for me is because he's younger. Development that Ten Hag can mould him into our number 9. We get Harry Kane in, he's Tottenham's number 9 that we've ended up getting towards the end of his career. You get Gakpo in, you can mould him, I think, into a really, really good striker, a Man United striker, and obviously he has that Dutch connection with Ten Hag, which we've seen he's liked. And also, why I'm attracted to him is Erik Ten Hag really wants him. We've heard that. He wanted him in the summer, he wants him again in January. And everyone that Erik Ten Hag's been linked to is all been done really, really well. Yeah. So a bit of trust in the manager from me. But Charlie, let's move on to Osimhen. Why have you gone for him second?
Again, a traditional number 9, likes to get in behind, scores goals. I think Adam likes the stat very much. He likes to say it a lot of the fact that I think he had a bit of an injury, but then he's come back and started scoring goals again. It's not even taken him long to like get back in and start scoring. I can't say that I watch him like a lot, but just young enough to, what is he, 23? I want to say around that age. So young enough to be the number 9 for a while, young enough to adapt still as well. And overall just a really good player. But no, I'm actually, I can't lie, I'm eager to talk
You're eager to talk about your number one. Well, we don't really have to hold them up because we know what they are. Yours is Kane, mine is Osimhen. So why, Charlie, take it away. Why is Harry Kane your number one? And I like Harry Kane, but I'm going to come back to you. Let's have a little bit of debate on this. So why is Harry Kane your number one?
Harry Kane is my number one, and I'm writing it down, so you lot can see it, because it is Harry Kane. Harry Kane is unbelievable. He is. He is, like, if Haaland wasn't in this league, Harry Kane would be the best thing since sliced bread this season.
He is still.
He scored more goals to this start of the season than he ever has before. His assists, his link-up play, like, there's a reason him and Son have the most, goal contributions together for each other. Like, they broke, I think it was Lampard and Drogba's record. Ridiculous. Harry Kane's proven it in the Premier League for however many years. He's going to want to stay in the Premier League, and admittedly, and that's why I had a little bit of a smirk on my face when you were like, like Cavani, blah, blah, blah. I understand where you're coming from in the sense of it's an older striker, right? And you're saying you get 3 years. If we get 3 years of Harry Kane scoring 25 goals in our team, ridiculous. Like, I don't care. I'll take that. And if you say his injuries, he's still scoring 25 goals with his injuries. So imagine an injury-free season-long Harry Kane. He is a bagsman. He is scoring goals. He is. And regardless, so if he wants to drop deep, he can drop deep, You say Bruno likes to do that. Okay, well, Bruno, sorry, mate, you're not going to do that anymore. You're now, when Harry Kane drops deep, you're the one that gets in behind. Rashford, Anthony, like, it's ridiculous. It's a joke. It is like that puzzle, not that it's the last puzzle piece and all of a sudden we win the league. I don't think that. But it is the big puzzle piece. And even if he is there for 3 years, you then can go and get a Sesko. You can still go and get a Gakpo. Why not? Like, you can get a younger guy that can come in underneath him. I think it's perfect.
The only thing as well I would say about this is if Harry Kane comes in, there's absolutely no room for Rashford or Martial up front because Harry Kane's going to be starting every
100%, but I don't
but you don't mind that. No, so
not at all.
Does that mean Martial? Does that mean Martial gets sold? Well, because Martial's not going to be happy with that.
He was the one who wanted to go last season. I think this is all if buts and maybes, isn't it? I think it very much depends on a lot of things. Martial could now be injury free for the rest of the season and be unbelievable and score now like 20 goals, and we're not going to want this main number 9, are we? We are then going to want almost like an understudy and then a Charlie McNeil to come through the youth. It does depend on kind of what scenario does develop, I guess. But when we're talking about these 5 players, Harry Kane for me is the top dog.
I do think we are desperately crying out for an out-and-out number 9, and that's why I've also put Osimhen first in that situation over the likes of Gakpo. And I think with Harry Kane, it's like Martial, I love him to pieces, but you can't just keep waiting each season for him to be that striker. He's not that striker. I think he's a good striker, and I think he can definitely play that role, but we need someone else as well to support him. And Harry Kane, I agree with you, he's an unbelievable player, one of the best strikers in the world, absolutely. But the reason I've gone with Osimhen over him, again, for me, is age. He is 23. I've just looked it up. I knew he was in his early 20s. And people will say, they'll say what they can say about the Italian league, but I've watched Napoli in the Champions League this season. He's had a few injuries, but when he's played, he has been so good. I think the way he is such a target man, he's also quick. He can also get in behind. He just looks like a monster. And he's got that height as well. And I think other teams will be intimidated by him. It's like, with the likes of João Felix, he's a completely different type of player, but it's just the physicality of Osimhen is really good when you're wanting different types of goals. So that's why I've gone with Osimhen. And I think in regards to Harry Kane, he's obviously coming towards the end of his career, not at the end yet, but he's coming towards, whereas Osimhen's only just starting, he's not even in his prime yet, and he's already this good. He's going to be the most expensive one. So price I've kind of not factored in. I mean, we're getting new owners, we can afford it. So price is obviously going to be really, really high, but if anyone gets him out of Napoli, I think it should be Manchester United. I think he will end up being one of the best strikers in the world. I think I can definitely see that potential in him. And then again, looking at his stats, progressive runs 1.27, so he's still up there. He's still making that progressive runs that Erik ten Hag would like. Headed goals 0.16, he can head the ball. Goal conversion 20, which is more than everyone on this list apart from Gakpo. So he's converting his chances super well. And yeah, 10 goals this season with the second least amount of minutes played because of his injuries, just with João Felix just behind him. So 10 goals in just over 1,000 minutes, he's pretty good going. Napoli are doing really, really well. I think he's one of the reasons. So that's why Osimhen goes above Kane for me. And as well, it's like him coming to the Premier League, it's going to be Manchester United's striker that can take us to the next level. And don't get me wrong, I think Kane or Osimhen can both do a good job.
Do you think not that I'm disagreeing with you, but do you think there's a difference in paying? Obviously, there's a difference in paying. Let's say it was 100 million. They were both, Osimhen's 100 million and Harry Kane's 100 million, just for argument's sake. There's a difference in us going for Osimhen. I feel like there's that pressure on Osimhen, whereas there's Harry Kane, regardless of where he goes, he's going to go for a lot of money, especially Premier League. There's no pressure on him because he's done it for so many years, isn't there? So like, it's almost like, well, you know what you're going to get with Harry Kane. That's just the one thing. Well, it's not the one thing, but a main thing for me. I just think
he's Premier League
just
proof.
Even you know what? I'd actually go out there, and this is going to sound weird, but even if he scored half the amount of goals, just the quality and the actual technical ability.
He's got more to his game.
You could honestly, so and I relate this to Lewandowski for Poland. He's so isolated and has nothing. The game last night I was watching against who are they playing? Croatia? No, Argentina.
Argentina. Yeah.
The ball was just getting lumped to him, and he you can't do anything. But you do that to Harry Kane. He could have 10 people around him, and he'll take a first touch and find someone. Like he's unbelievable. It's like Kevin De Bruyne's passing, obviously his own shooting ability, like his finishing is just, it just gets me excited.
He is one of the best players in the league, but again, I will reinstate my points. This is why I disagree with Charlie. I want someone young, I want someone fresh, I want someone new that we can bring into the team. And don't get me wrong, there is pressure on Osimhen, but he seems like a really confident guy.
If you think we don't need to worry about money, why don't get Kane and then 3 years later get Osimhen?
Yeah, I think Osimhen's the one. I don't think we'll get either Harry Kane or Osimhen, by the way. I think it'll end up being Cody Gakpo, but Cody Gakpo in January, Osimhen in the summer. Bob's your uncle, life's happy, Man United are back to winning ways again. But no, I generally do think Harry Kane, I've heard people say he could be a Van Persie type signing. If we signed him, it definitely boosts us, but I don't think we're quite at that level yet where we can start thinking about that. But Charlie, thanks for coming on and discussing top 5 different. And it's good to be different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to... Well, because we didn't know, obviously, our top 5's coming into this, so it makes it more... It's more natural, isn't it? You can actually have a debate rather than what we would have done off air if we both knew it. Yeah,
exactly.
No, it was
a bit more natural, more exciting. Yeah. And guys, as well, now you've heard all of our thoughts. I'm sure loads of people agree with Charlie, people might agree with me, people might be in the middle and not agree with any of us. Make sure you get in the comments down below who your top 5 would be, and if there's anyone that we missed out in here that you are desperate to see at Manchester United, how likely we are to get these players. And yeah, make sure you comment down below your thoughts. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Make sure you give the video a like, make sure you subscribe, and hopefully we see one of these options at Old Trafford soon. But we'll see you on the next one, everyone.